Alright, hello everyone. This is going to be just a very short video. I'm answering some questions brought up by a viewer in the comments of my last video. And essentially that question was just how can you use multiple JavaScript files in a single sketch in P5? So I'm just going to kind of walk you through the process, kind of explain some of why you might want to do this, how all the follow-ups. My cat is currently going crazy in the background, so you may hear her pushing pencils around the floor and the like. But anyways, let's just jump right into it. She's destroying stuff. Okay, there's my mouse. All right, so we have the P5 sketch right here. This is just the default sketch for right now. It's pretty straightforward. We're just going to do a very simple kind of proof of concept thing today, but this can be scaled up to be however complex you need. If you've used other code editors, you might be familiar with the idea of tabs open, and these are essentially just extra files that your project will use and can reference, and they're all kind of together in one spot. Those are very useful, but the P5 web editor does not do that. We can only have one sketch open at a time. But we can still have these multiple files. So if you go through and have seen a lot of my videos, you'll notice that they are, I don't really use this a whole lot, but most of my projects are fairly small scale. The reason you would want to do this is, let's say you have a very large project. Maybe you have a ton of objects or classes or a bunch of functions or different states. It's going to be a very large project, hundreds and hundreds of lines of code. It's going to be real hard to keep everything in order, find where all the stuff goes. There is a better way to organize it than just having everything in the single file. And that will be by making these extra files. So the way we're going to be doing this is, for today, I'm just going to take function setup and put that in a separate file. It's going to be pretty straightforward. In order to do that, you see this little arrow right here. We're going to click on that, open it up, and we'll have all of the sketch files right here. So again, we mostly work in sketch.js, but there's also the style and the HTML files right here that the sketch in the browser needs in order to build all of our programs. So we can just click this little arrow right here and say create file. So I'm just going to call this setup.js. You need to have the .js file in there so that way or extension there, so that way everyone, all the computers and files, everything knows, oh, this is a JavaScript file. It knows how to format everything and get it all working properly without errors. So you need to have that JS right there. So I've made it. It pops up. I'm just going to paste. There we go. That setup function. I'm also going to say let background equal. I'm going to use that. I'm just going to do that. So, and then we can pop up here, and instead of the default background, we'll say BG. So what I've done just now is I've made a new JavaScript file right here, and I'm creating a global variable and the canvas right here. But then in the normal Sketch.js, we're just drawing the background with that variable from the other file. Now, normally, you will not be able to have these two files talk to each other. Normally, there's one more step, and that is just telling all the files to work together. So in order to do this, like if I were to run this right now, we would get several errors, and it's saying, how that variable is not defined, we can't find it, all that, stuff. It can be quite annoying. So if you go inside the HTML file, you'll notice there's already a few of the things we're going to type out right now. And that are these scripts right here that tell our sketch to go find this extra code and use it. So this is how the web editor is able to use external libraries and just P5 in and of itself. It is a JavaScript file that is hosted online, and we're just finding it and using it. So I'm going to just go right here before the first script, and I'm going to load that in. I want to just go ahead and get this loaded in first. Just, again, the order can be a little funky. You may find that it'll work better if you load in the libraries and then the sketch.js if you're using a bunch or the extra file we made. Um, you may find it works better before. The order can get a little weird if it's trying to, execute the code and do all the checks, but it hasn't loaded the libraries yet. It can get a little weird. So I just want to say for now, I am putting it at the top of all these scripts. You may want to put it down at the bottom or in the order it does matter, but it's very contextual based on what you're doing. So if you're not familiar with HTML, basically we have these tags right here. You can see head, script, link, meta, and they tell the computer to interpret the data in between the little caret marks in a certain way. So we can use those caret marks, and I'm going to say script, and then just a space, and we're going to say src source equals, and then in strings our file. So I'm just going to say setup.js. We have that there, and then I'm going to have the closing caret, and then we just need a slash RIPT like that to close out the that particular script command. So we have that right there. So now if I was to run this, now when the code runs, it's going to say, oh, go find this source and include it in our memory for this code. So if I go back to setup.js, again, we're setting that variable to light blue, and then back in Sketch, we're using that to draw the background of the canvas. We're also making the canvas in the other file. You'll notice it didn't appear here at all the first time. So now if I run this, we get the canvas popping up like normal. We get the light blue color. I can go and change things here. So maybe instead of light blue, I want to make this purple. And it lights up and changes properly because we have all the files and we are linking to them in the HTML file. Again, these are all just local right here, so you don't need to have a URL. You can just have the file pathway of, in this case, setup.js. If I wanted to make a folder, maybe have this one called classes. I'll just put the, I don't know if I can do that, create file. Maybe we had a class of objects and put it in here, and class Bob. I don't know. Oop, I forgot my parentheses. And my quotations. There we go. I'm making a very simple thing here. What did I mess up? Be great if it actually put these errors in the okay, fine. Fine, I'll do it as if I was building an actual one. Can I just get away with this? Actually, instead of constructor, I'm just gonna say. All right, I'm kind of just going off script here, but if I go into my my setup, I'll say let Bobby Bobby's gonna be a new Bob object, and then I know it's not defined, but then I can go in here and say Bob dot appear. I don't know what happened there. Oh, it's because it keeps jumping back to the errors. There we are. Okay, this is again. I'm just kind of going off the cuff here. Bobby dot up here. So again, you notice we're running into the same errors. We just have to do this again for all of our JavaScript files. So I'm going to copy this and paste it. Only now instead of setup.js, we have bob.js. But Bob is an object, and maybe we have a bunch of objects and just want to condense them all into a folder to make life easy. So we just have to say the name of our folder, classes /bob.js. And now, we can see Bob. So again, we're we have the class defined right here. It's pretty simple. We're creating the object in this file. We are displaying it and using it in a third file. So again, you can have these multiple files set up, but you just have to link them all in the HTML file to tell your sketch where to find them and to utilize them in the memory. And that's really all it is. So I hope this answered your question. I hope it was helpful for anyone who might be having this issue. If you learned something, again, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff. It is very helpful. And we'll go from there. There's plenty more videos and playlists I've got down below. Those will be popping up on screen soon if they haven't already. And yeah, that's going to be it for me. So I'll see you all next time that I see you.